things I miss the most in the Philippines. In this video, I'm going to share the 18 things I miss the most about the Philippines. But before we start, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Being a Filipino expat abroad is kind of exciting and fun for certain people. There are two main types of expat Filipinos. One is an overseas Filipino worker, also known as OFW. The other one is an immigrant because of marriage or family. Generally, OFWs left the Philippines to provide a better life for their family back home, while immigrants left the Philippines to build their own families and start a new life abroad. But whatever kind of life we have abroad, we can't deny the fact that we always dream to go back to our homeland when we feel homesick. The Philippines may not be perfect and admitted that it's a poor country, but we can't also deny the fact that the Philippines is a very special country to our heart. Many Filipinos and even other races keep coming back to the Philippines because we found many special things there that we cannot experience in other countries. We are even planning and dreaming to save enough money abroad, then retire in the Philippines someday. But before we go on a retirement plan in the Philippines, what do you miss the most about the Philippines? This is the list of things that I miss the most about the Philippines. Number 1. Christmas celebration. Who wouldn't miss Christmas in the Philippines? The Philippines has the longest Christmas celebration in the world. We started in September and end around January after Three Kings. In September, Filipinos start to put Christmas decorations inside and outside their house. And sometimes, people started to go caroling in October, but mostly, they do caroling after Halloween. And who would not miss the Simbang Gabi, also called Misa de Gallo or Dawn Masses in the Philippines? They say, if you complete the 9 morning mass, you can make a wish after that. We celebrate Christmas Eve at exactly 12 in the morning on December 25. Most of the parents are in charge of preparing food for the whole family. People are very excited to give presents to kids and loved ones. Kids are excited to wear their new clothes for Christmas Day and feel bad if they don't have new clothes for that special day. I also remember when I started to have a godchild, or inaanak in Tagalog, I began to save malulutong na pera, or crisp bills in English, for all my inaanak and pamangkin and other kids who go house to house. I also repackaged candies and chocolates inside ice plastic bag to give it away to all kids who are asking for a present. I also buy cheap stuff in the Tiangge and wrap it as a present for my relatives. In the morning of Christmas Day, if you want to see many kids wearing their new Pamasko outfit, just go outside your house and be Santa Claus. But don't forget the joking words of Filipino every Christmas, which is the hiding strategy of stingy ninong and ninang. If somebody has no money, they remain inside the house to hide from all the kids. In the 90s, only kids got presents in the Philippines. But in this new generation, young people also give presents to adults, especially to their lolo and lola. Christmas is also special for all Filipino workers because this is the time that they can get a bonus, 13-month pay, free groceries from their employer, and a Christmas party with lots of raffle prizes. Christmas in the Philippines is one of a kind, isn't it? Number 2. New Year's Eve celebration. And who wouldn't miss the New Year's Eve celebration in the Philippines? From December 28, Filipinos are very busy buying round fruits to put on the table for the celebration of New Year's Eve. In our family and barangay, New Year's Eve is much more special than Christmas because this is the beginning of the year and we prepare many kinds of food and fruits, but always avoiding to prepare some food that Filipinos believe doesn't give a prosperous New Year. Aside from the fun part of preparing round fruits and food for New Year's Eve, Filipinos also like to have some sticky delicacies on the table, symbolizing that the good fortune will stick around throughout the year. We also put coins on the table and bed, and then keep the coins for the whole year. Rice, Eggs and cotton are also part of the good luck on the table for New Year's Eve. And of course, Filipinos love to have noisy New Year's Eve to scare away the bad spirit. Firecrackers are not allowed everywhere now in the Philippines. So to make noise, people are just clanging their pans and pots, blowing their vehicle horn, or tying the empty cans at the back of their tricycle to drag them on the road to cause as much noise as possible. All house windows and doors are open when the 12 o'clock strike. Radio and videoke are on, and torotot or child trumpet is the #1 noise maker of the kids for the New Year. There's a lot of New Year's Filipino tradition. A different place has a different belief. But the thing I love most about New Year's Eve celebration in the Philippines, it's also a family gathering because we all believe that on New Year's Eve, all family members must celebrate together. We even go to all the houses of our relatives every New Year to greet them with a Happy New Year and try their food. Number 3. The people. Who wouldn't miss the people in the Philippines? As a U.S. immigrant, I can't avoid comparing the people in the Philippines to the people in the U.S. Although American people are also nice and friendly, it's still no match to the people in the Philippines. In the U.S., you don't know who your neighbors are. You can't even see them sitting outside their porch, maybe because they're busy at work or they prefer to stay inside because of cold weather, or just to avoid suspicious people in the neighborhood. But in the Philippines, you know all your neighbors. And every morning, it seems that there is a meeting outside the porch of their favorite meeting place, tambayan in Tagalog. Every morning, you can even see a bunch of people at the side of the road, busy talking or waiting for the fish vendor or pandesal vendor. I miss the people in the Philippines because they are very friendly, cheerful, and love to interact with anyone, whether native or foreigners. Filipino hospitality is very well known around the world. And not only that, Filipinos are also known for treating their guests warmly. That's why tourists from all over the world love the people in the Philippines because of that quality, more than the food and beautiful places. And there's a lot more reason why I miss people in the Philippines. And my definition of that is, Filipinos are awesome. Number 4. The weather. Who among you doesn't miss the weather in the Philippines? When I moved to the US, I've learned how to appreciate the warm weather in the Philippines. I thought a cold country with snow is fun, but no. At first, snow is fun. But once you experience it, you're gonna say to yourself, I hate snow. I hate cold weather. The summer season in the US is nice too, but many times it's very hot and it's like you're burning. The Philippines has 2 seasons, and that is a dry season, which is summer, and a wet season, which is a rainy monsoon. But even if we have the wet season, it doesn't mean it will rain every day. Because even if it's the wet season, the warm weather still feels good. But of course, we love summer more than the rainy season because it's time to go to the beaches and resorts everywhere in the country. From December to March, the weather in the Philippines is cool. Yes, my husband said it's cool and nice but not cold. But for the Filipinos, it is very cold already, right? And we Filipinos always say, Simoy Pasko na, when we feel the cool breeze weather during Burr months. Burr means September to December. Number 5. Food and street food. Who wouldn't miss street food in the Philippines? It's cheap and affordable. I'm sure if you move to another country and think isaw, Adidas, kwek-kwek, etc., it feels like you're drooling. But some immigrants can still do some way of making their own version of our famous street food when they are craving it. Same to Filipino dishes that we miss the most, although there are a little bit differences to the taste of some ingredients. We still manage to cook our Filipino dishes abroad. My favorite dish is afritada and adobo. Even though I can cook it here in the US, I still miss the original taste that I can only taste in the Philippines. I don't know if it's because of the magic sarap or the authentic ingredients made in the Philippines. And of course, who would not miss Jollibee and Mang Inasal in the Philippines? Yes, Filipinos can eat Jollibee in other countries, but admit that the original taste of Jollibee in the Philippines is very different from the taste of Jollibee abroad, especially the spaghetti, but their chicken joy with gravy is still the same. Number 6. Malls. I miss the malls in the Philippines because malls close to our area are no match for the malls in my area in the Philippines. Here in the US where I live, the malls seem like abandoned buildings sometimes. People roaming around are very few, and sometimes no one is roaming around. And the sales staff are not as many as sales staff to SM or Robinsons. Filipino families also love to hang out inside the malls, especially on weekends. You normally see the whole family eating together or shopping together in the mall. All malls in the Philippines are equipped with almost every basic need of a Filipino. For example, SM. I love to shop at SM Mall because everything I need is there. I don't need to take another trip to look for other stuff in other malls. In other malls, we can also find government agencies like DFA, Pag-ibig, NBI, etc. This is a brilliant idea of mall owners and government so that Filipino people would no longer do government transactions in a different area. Filipinos love convenience and accessibility. That's why Philippine mall owners provide what people demand and need. Number 7. Family and friends. I miss my family every day. Here in the US, family members are scattered everywhere. Most of the family members are living in a different state. And although they call each other once in a while, it's still sad that they don't see each other. Unlike in the Philippines, most of the time, all family members are living in the same barangay or the same compound. And if one of the family is living in a far place, we still manage to visit each other, especially if there is an occasion. I'm living in Batangas, and my neighbors are all relatives, and others are just living in the same barangay. If there is an occasion, everybody is present. I really miss my family because here in the US, it's just me, my husband, and our daughter. That's why it's so lonely sometimes. This is my first time leaving my family in the Philippines. I also miss my friends because we have a strong bond and we are like sisters. We have a lot of good memories together. I don't have friends where I live now. I just spend my time writing stories on Wattpad to entertain myself and forget my homesickness and longing for my family. And who would not think and miss a little bit the noisy, disrespectful loud music and videoke of the neighbor? Only in the Philippines, right? It's annoying, but I know for sure you're gonna miss it when you move to a very quiet place abroad. Number 8. Fiesta. Filipinos love fiesta, especially in the provinces. I am from Batangas, and fiesta is one of the occasions that we cannot ignore. The traditional fiesta celebrates the honor of the saint in each barangay or city. People also celebrate fiesta as a thank you for all the blessings that they got for the whole year. In Filipino fiesta, you can see and taste different kinds of Filipino cuisine and dessert. And my favorite dishes in every fiesta are afritada, lumpiang Shanghai, and buko salad. Fiesta also becomes a family and friends gathering because everybody is invited. And relatives from other places attend fiesta to see their relatives and of course to enjoy the fiesta food too. Fiesta has a lot of gimmicks. 1 month before the fiesta, the whole barangay put colorful banderitas, means a small banner, to tell people from other places that the fiesta to the barangay is coming. They also pay celebrities to entertain the whole community. They sponsor the contest, marching band, etc. just to make people happy, even in just 1 day. Number 9. Jeepney and tricycle. Who would not miss the local transportation in the Philippines? everybody experiences it unless you are born with your own car, or people jokingly called yayamanin. I miss jeepneys and tricycles because it's only in the Philippines. Filipinos can travel anywhere even without their own car because we have jeepneys and tricycles all over the country. Filipinos can transport any kind of stuff, even furniture or appliances, without needing their own vehicle because jeepneys and tricycles can handle everything. That's what all Filipinos miss about the Philippines, especially people who haven't yet driven abroad. Cars in the US are very important. It is their first need because they need a car for them to be able to work. In the Philippines, we can work even without our own car because jeepneys and tricycles are everywhere. Number 10. Filipino Party. Filipino parties are the best. It's one of the things that I also miss the most. In my province, if there is a party like a birthday party, everybody is welcome. We don't need to give them an invitation to attend the birthday party. I remember the one-year birthday party of my daughter in my parents' house. There were a lot of visitors. It seems Fiesta, and everybody is so happy and full, especially the kids. Because we have games, clowns, unlimited ice cream, cotton candy, and many more. Kids and adults are so thankful because they really enjoy the party. Although there is a Filipino party, sometimes in my area here abroad, the party in the Philippines is still number one because all family, relatives, and friends are present. Number 11. Beach and Resort. Who wouldn't miss the beaches and resorts in the Philippines? I don't know how to swim, but I also enjoy friends and family outings at the beach and resort in the Philippines. Maybe for many Filipinos, it's fun to go to a beach because of a beautiful place. But for me, it's fun to go to a beach and resort because of the bonding moments with my family or sometimes with my friends. But no doubt, the Philippines has the most beautiful beaches in the world. But to be honest, I've never been to Boracay or El Nido. I've just been to some beautiful beaches in Batangas like Laia San Juan, Matabungkay, and some resorts in Lemery, Batangas, and Quezon. But my favorite is Laia, Batangas. Number 12. Filipino Dessert. I really miss Filipino desserts, but not so bad. But honestly, sometimes I'm craving buko salad and ube halaya. I can make leche flan in the US. That's why I don't miss it much. Every fiesta, even Christmas and New Year in my parents' house in the Philippines, we always have different kinds of desserts. And buko salad is always present because it's everybody's favorite. There are a lot of desserts in the Philippines that Filipinos really miss. But buko salad and ube halaya is my special highlight. How about you? What Filipino dessert do you miss the most? Number 13. Fresh fruits. Fresh fruits in the Philippines are everywhere. Even foreigners love fresh fruits in the Philippines. We can buy fresh fruits in the market and even at the side of the road. Fresh mango, young coconut, and rambutan are my favorite fruits. Although I can eat mango from the store here, which is often mango from Mexico. But it's still good to eat Philippine fresh fruits. In the Philippines, we can buy fresh fruits that just harvest from the tree. The Philippines is very rich in fruits. Most people in the province have their own fruit tree inside their fence, especially mango trees that neighbors and kids love to pick if the tree owner is not around. Number 14. Local language. Who would not miss the Tagalog local language? If you move to other countries, it's normal that you will miss talking to Tagalog, especially if you're living in or around English-speaking people. At first, maybe you are excited and challenged to speak different languages like English. But there was a time that you will always miss our Tagalog language or whatever your language in the Philippines. You will wish to talk to somebody who has the same language as yours. I'm just lucky because my daughter can understand Tagalog and she is interested in learning Tagalog. That's why I talk to her in Tagalog all the time. I also feel happy every time I accidentally meet a Filipina in my area and we talk Tagalog for a while, because no matter what, I will not forget Tagalog. Tagalog will always be my favorite language that I want to teach to my daughter. And because I have no one to speak Tagalog where I'm living, I decided to write stories on Wattpad. Writing helps me to forget that I'm far away from my motherland. Writing gives me the opportunity to write unlimited Tagalog words and to express my feelings and what's in my mind. I also prefer to read Tagalog books than English books. I love our country and I love our language so much. Number 15. Food vendor. Who among you misses the vendors in your area? There are a lot of vendors in the Philippines who sell any kind of stuff. But what I miss the most is food vendors. I miss banana cue vendor, ice cream vendor, and even balot, isaw vendor, corn vendor, and the taho vendor. You will miss their yells and sounds when you leave the Philippines, especially the taho vendor yelling in the morning. When kids heard their yell, they were hastily going out to buy taho. Food vendors are always passing by in front of our house, and sometimes they stand by to my parents' house porch. My parents' porch is the favorite hangout of everybody in our neighbors, even vendors. Because we have a sari-sari store before, and my mother loves to chit-chat with any kind of people. And there was a time that some vendors gave fresh fruits, fish, and other stuff to us because they always rest on our porch, and they already become friends with my mother and other neighbors in our place. That's why every fiesta, we always have additional visitors. Filipinos are very smart and resourceful when it comes to extra income. Vendors who sell house to house are so amazing. They don't mind the heat of the sun, even the exhausting long walk. Number 16. Tiangge. If you are a simple person like me, I'm sure you also miss tiangge in the Philippines. Tiangge literally means a market or bazaar where you can find a lot of stuff at a very low price. In every town, there is a tiangge, especially if the fiesta is coming. And we have a night market before in our town. It's open from 6 p.m. until midnight, but for some reason, they close the night market. I love tiangge not because of the low prices, but it is also because I can buy a lot of stuff there, especially a variety of clothes with a unique style that I cannot find at malls and even here in the US. But no doubt, I also very much love the sale and clearance stuff in the US. I love sales in the US because no matter how high the price of the item, when the season is changed, they often mark down the price so very low. And many times, they mark down the item price to $1, which cannot happen in the Philippine malls. That's why many Filipinos better choose to buy in tiangge than buying stuff at malls in the Philippines. Because in tiangge, their 1,000 pesos can buy a lot of stuff for all of their kids, while in the mall, 1,000 pesos is just enough for one kid. But many times, it's still not enough, right? But honestly, just to be fair, the quality of the mall stuff is better than the quality of the tiangge stuff. But that's okay, because that's what we can get at the price we can afford. If you want good quality, go to the mall. And if you want cheap and fine quality, let's go to tiangge. But I do shopping in malls in tiangge, which I miss about the Philippines. Number 17. Family Sunday. I miss being with my family every Sunday. We used to go to church, either San Sebastian Cathedral Church or Mount Carmel Mary Mediatrix of All Grace Church. Then after the Mass, we will go to Jollibee or SM malls. This is something very simple, but something I miss the most to do when I am away from the Philippines. In the Philippines, Filipinos are 80% Catholic. That's why every Sunday, going to church is one of the bonding moments of the whole family. It doesn't matter if we don't memorize the Bible or the song in the church. What's important is we go to church to listen, learn, and pray, whether we are alone or with our family. And what I also miss every Sunday in the Philippines is that there are a lot of places to go. You can choose the place you want to go, just name it, and know your budget. Number 18. Hometown. Who would not miss their hometown? I'm sure no one, right? I miss my hometown because I have a lot of relatives and friends there, and I've been living there all my life. I also miss my hometown because here in the town where I live is very different from my hometown in the Philippines. Here, if you go outside, you cannot see any people. You can just see cars on the road, but sometimes I can also see one person outside their house, maybe just checking the mail or walking their dog or mowing the grass. Like I've said earlier, people in the US don't know their neighbors, and they are content to just stay inside the house. While in my place in the Philippines, everybody knows each other, especially the older people. Funny, because they also even know the life of other people in their barangay. But I'm sure if you move to other countries, you will also miss your hometown and the people there. You're going to miss many events at your place like the basketball league every summer, Fiesta events, etc. You'll miss your neighbor who always asks you where you're going when they see you wearing new clothes or even when they see you that you just took a shower. They always thought you're going somewhere. You're also gonna miss your neighbor who always asks you if you want coffee when they see you in front of their porch. You're going to miss the people who are willing to carry your heavy stuff when they see you going down in the tricycle. You sometimes miss the good people you normally see drinking beer and cuatro cantos on their porch. And a lot more reason to miss the hometown. Filipinos are very sentimental and family-oriented. That's why it's so hard for us to leave the country for any reason. But because we love our family, many Filipinos are forced to work abroad for the future of their loved ones. And the immigrant, of course, needs to leave the country for the sake of a new family and new life. The listed above is just based on my own experience. I am pretty sure you also missed something more than on my list. I am curious, what do you miss the most in the Philippines? Please don't hesitate to comment down below. What do you miss the most in the Philippines? But I suggest, if you do have a family living or working abroad, always ask them how they are. Masarap sa pakiramdam ang naaalala ka ng kaibigan o kapamilya mo sa Pilipinas. Kahit na sa simpleng hi and hello lang, ay okay na kaming mga nasa labas ng Pilipinas. Sa kaunting oras nyo lang para kamustahin kami, kahit wala kayong kailangan ay malaking bagay na upang maibsan ang aming pangungulila sa naiwang pamilya at buhay sa Pilipinas. If you have loved ones living or working abroad, share this video with them and know what they miss the most in the Philippines.